Your computer is being attacked right now, not tomorrow, not someday. Right now, as you watch this video, there are automated bots scanning millions of Windows machines looking for exactly one thing. A gap in your defenses they can walk straight through. And the tool that most people trust to stop them? Microsoft Defender. I deleted it 6 months ago, and my computer has never been more secure. Let me show you exactly what I replaced it with, and it costs absolutely nothing. But before I show you the setup, I need to show you something that Microsoft does not want you to see, because once you understand what Defender is actually doing, or more accurately, what it is not doing, you will never look at that little shield icon in your taskbar the same way again. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will have a layered, completely free security setup that is genuinely better than what most people pay money for. And I will walk you through every single step. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, if you asked any serious security professional whether you should rely on Microsoft Defender, they would have laughed. Defender used to be genuinely bad. It missed threats. It was slow. It was the security software that gave you a false sense of protection while malware walked through the front door. Then Microsoft got serious. They hired thousands of security engineers. They rebuilt the engine from the ground up. They plugged it into their cloud intelligence network. And by 2023, something remarkable happened. Defender started scoring well in independent lab tests. AV-Test, one of the most respected independent antivirus testing organizations in the world, ran their evaluation in August 2025, and Defender did well. AV Comparatives ran their real-world protection test in May 2025, and Defender earned the Advanced Plus rating, the highest tier available, the same tier as Bitdefender, Norton, and Total AV. So if Defender is now scoring at the top of the charts, why am I deleting it? Because test scores and real-world protection are two very different things. And there are 3 problems with Defender that no lab test will ever capture. Once I explain these 3 problems to you, you will understand exactly why I made the switch, and why you should too. Problem number 1, Defender is the most predictable target on the planet. Every Windows PC on Earth ships with Defender turned on by default. That means there are over 1 billion machines running the exact same security software with the exact same architecture, the exact same detection patterns, and the exact same update schedule. And hackers know this. In fact, hackers study it obsessively. Because Microsoft is a public company that publishes its patch notes, every time Defender is updated to close a vulnerability, hackers can read exactly what was patched, and they immediately start working on what comes next. The CVE 2024-2142 exploit is one of the clearest examples of this, a vulnerability in Defender's smart screen that spread with exceptional speed precisely because attackers knew the architecture they were targeting. When your security tool is used by 1 billion people, it is not just a shield. It is a map that your enemies have memorized. Problem number 2. Defender has critical blind spots that most users never discover until it is too late. Here is the one that surprises people the most. If you use Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox, which together account for over 80% of all desktop browser usage worldwide, Microsoft Defender does not protect you while you browse the web. 0. None. Its web protection is built for Microsoft. Edge only. For Chrome and Firefox users, there's no browser extension, no real-time web shield, no phishing protection at the browser level. The only thing standing between you and a malicious website is your own judgment. Think about that for a second. The vast majority of modern cyber attacks do not start with a file you download. They start with a website you visit, a fake login page that harvests your password, a malicious ad that automatically downloads something the moment the page loads, a phishing link in an email that redirects you to a convincing fake banking site. Defender, as a standalone tool, will not stop any of these in Chrome or Firefox. And it gets worse. Defender has no password manager, no VPN, no dark web monitoring to alert you if your email and password have already been sold on a hacker forum. No identity theft protection, no advanced ransomware rollback. Cybersecurity experts now agree, an antivirus scanner alone is not a complete security solution. It is one layer, and Defender gives you that one layer and nothing else. Problem number 3. Defender has a measurable performance cost that Microsoft quietly ignores. Independent reviews consistently rate Defender's speed impact at around 70%, meaning it noticeably slows down your machine. On a brand new, high-end PC, you probably will not feel it. But if you are running a laptop that is 2 or 3 years old or a mid-range desktop, Defender's full scans and background processes will drag your system down in ways that feel disproportionate for a tool that is supposed to be invisible. Bitdefender, by comparison, one of the alternatives I'm going to show you today, runs its engine with such a small footprint that independent testers describe it as virtually undetectable. It scored 99.8% malware block rate in AV comparatives testing, with only 3 false positives. And it does all of that while consuming significantly fewer system resources than Defender. So here is where we stand. Defender is not garbage. It is genuinely better than it used to be. If you do nothing else, if you refuse to change anything after watching this video, having Defender is still better than having nothing. But if you want real protection in 2026, the kind of layered, comprehensive defense that security professionals actually use on their own machines, Defender alone is not enough. And there is a completely free way to do better. Let me show you exactly what that looks like. Before I show you the specific tools, I need to spend 2 minutes explaining the philosophy behind why this setup works, because if you understand the thinking, you will be able to make smart security decisions for yourself for the rest of your life, not just follow a list. Modern cyber threats do not attack you in one way. They attack you in 5 ways simultaneously. They try to get you through a malicious website. They try to get you through a phishing email. They try to get you through a file you download and run. They try to compromise your accounts by guessing or stealing your passwords. And they try to get into your system by exploiting vulnerabilities in your operating system or software that have not been patched. A single antivirus tool, even a perfect one, only stops one of those 5 attack vectors, the file you download and run. That is it. Everything else goes straight through. This is why security professionals do not rely on a single product. They build layers. Each layer has one job. If an attacker gets past the first layer, the second layer catches them. If they get past the second layer, the third catches them. By the time you have 3 or 4 independent layers working together, you have created a system where no realistic attacker can get through all of them without triggering an alert. The beautiful thing, and this is the part that blew my mind when I first put this together, is that every single layer I'm about to show you is completely free. Not a free trial, not a freemium version that nags you to upgrade. Genuinely, permanently, completely free. Here's the setup. 4 tools, each one covering a different attack surface. Together they form a security stack that rivals what people pay $50 or $60 a year to get. Let me walk you through each one. The first thing I replaced Defender with is Bitdefender free antivirus. And I want to explain why this specific tool, not just any free antivirus. Bitdefender is not a startup. It is not a budget brand. Bitdefender is used to protect enterprise networks for Fortune 500 companies around the world. The same engine that powers their enterprise product, the one corporations pay thousands of dollars a year to license, is what powers the free consumer version. What you get for free is genuinely the same detection technology that enterprise security teams trust with critical infrastructure. The numbers back this up. In AV comparatives testing, Bitdefender Free scored a 99.8% malware block rate. To put that in context, Defender scored around 90% in the same category of independent testing and missed malware samples that Bitdefender caught. We are talking about the difference between a tool that stops almost everything and a tool that stops most things. And in security, the gap between almost everything and most things is exactly where ransomware lives. Here is what makes Bitdefender Free genuinely exceptional for a no-cost tool. It includes real-time threat detection that runs continuously in the background. It includes anti-phishing protection that works across all browsers, Chrome, Firefox, Edge, all of them, which is the single biggest gap in Defender that I showed you earlier. It includes behavioral analysis that does not just look for known malware signatures, but watches how programs behave. So even brand new, never before seen malware gets caught if it tries to do something that looks suspicious. It includes payment protection that activates automatically when you visit a banking or shopping website. And it does all of this while running quieter and lighter than Defender. The one thing Bitdefender Free does not include is a firewall. You're going to keep Windows Firewall running alongside it, and that combination actually works very well. Bitdefender has been specifically designed to run in harmony with Windows Firewall, and in testing the two work together seamlessly without conflicts. The installation is about 3 minutes. You go to Bitdefender's website, download the free version, not the trial of their paid product, the actual free version, install it, and it immediately starts protecting you. There's no account required for the basic setup, no credit card, no expiry date on the free tier. It simply runs. One critical thing to do immediately after installing Bitdefender: open the settings and make sure real-time protection is switched on. Make sure the web protection module is active, and make sure automatic updates are enabled so the threat database stays current. These are all on by default, but it takes 30 seconds to verify and gives you complete confidence that the tool is working exactly as it should. Now here is where most people make a mistake when they switch from Defender. They install one antivirus and think the job is done, but there is a category of threat that traditional antivirus tools, including Bitdefender, are not optimized to catch. And that is what security professionals call potentially unwanted programs, adware, browser hijackers, and what is broadly categorized as malware that is not technically a virus. Think about the kind of software that comes bundled with free downloads, the toolbar that installs itself into your browser without asking, the fake system optimizer that runs in your taskbar and constantly tells you your PC is infected unless you pay to fix it, the browser extension that quietly redirects your searches, the program that runs at startup, slows everything down, and sends your browsing data somewhere you never agreed to. Traditional antivirus programs classify these as nuisances rather than threats, and they let them through. But these, called nuisances, can be genuinely dangerous. Browser hijackers can redirect you to phishing sites. Spyware bundled in free software can log your keystrokes. And adware can serve you malicious ads that download actual malware onto your machine while you're just trying to watch a video. Malwarebytes Free was built specifically to catch exactly this category of threat. It is the #1 rated free alternative in this space, recommended by security forums, independent testing sites, and cybersecurity professionals consistently over many years. The key thing to understand about Malwarebytes Free is that it is an on-demand scanner, not a real-time tool. This is actually a feature, not a limitation. Because it does not run constantly in the background, it has zero conflict with Bitdefender. The two tools coexist perfectly. Bitdefender handles your real-time protection. Malwarebytes handles your deep clean scans. The workflow I recommend is simple. Run Malwarebytes once a week. It takes about 5 minutes for a quick scan. Every month or so, run a full scan, which takes longer, but is more thorough. If you ever download something you're not sure about, run a Malwarebytes scan right after. This is exactly the layered approach that security professionals use. One tool running constant watch. One tool doing deep analysis on demand. To get Malwarebytes Free, go to their website, download the free version, and install it. When it offers you a free trial of the premium version, let the trial run. It gives you real-time protection during the trial period. When the trial ends, the tool automatically drops back to free mode and continues working as your on-demand scanner. No payment ever required. In your first week, run a full system scan immediately after installation. You may be surprised at what it finds, even on a machine you thought was clean. I have run Malwarebytes on computers that Defender had been running on for months with no alerts, and found adware, browser hijackers, and tracking cookies that Defender had simply ignored. That first scan alone is worth the 5 minutes it takes to install the tool. Here is the part of this video that most people skip because they think password security is boring. I want to convince you in the next 3 minutes that this is actually the most important layer in your entire security setup. More important than the antivirus. The single biggest way people get hacked in 2026 is not through malware. It is through stolen or guessed passwords. AI-powered phishing attacks increased 442% in 2025 alone. Data breaches at companies like Facebook, LinkedIn, and hundreds of smaller services have exposed billions of username and password combinations. Those credentials are sold on dark web forums for pennies. And automated bots try those credentials on every major website, banking app, and email service on the internet every single minute of every day. If you use the same password on more than one website, or if your password is based on a word, a name, a birthday, or any pattern that a human being might choose, you are already compromised. The only question is whether the attacker who has your credentials has gotten around to your specific accounts yet. This is why a password manager is not a nice-to-have extra. It is the foundation of modern personal cybersecurity. And Bitwarden is the best free password manager on the planet. Bitwarden is open source. That means its code is publicly available for any security researcher in the world to inspect, audit, and verify. There are no hidden tracking modules, no secret data collection. The security community has reviewed it extensively and given it a clean bill of health. Contrast this with some of the free password managers bundled with antivirus suites, some of which have had serious security vulnerabilities discovered in their own code. Here is what Bitwarden does for you. It generates completely random, completely unique passwords for every single website you use. We are talking passwords like this. 30 characters of random letters, numbers, and symbols that no human being could ever guess and no computer could crack within your lifetime. Each website gets a different one. And when you log in, Bitwarden autofills the password for you. You never have to remember it. You never have to type it. You just need to remember one master password, the password to your Bitwarden vault. The result is that even if a company you use suffers a data breach and your password for that site is stolen, the attacker has a password that only works on that one site. They cannot use it anywhere else. Your email, your bank, your social media, all protected by completely different passwords that the attacker does not have. The free tier of Bitwarden gives you unlimited passwords, unlimited devices, and sync across your desktop and phone. That is the entire core product, completely free. The premium version adds a few extras like advanced two-factor authentication options and encrypted file storage, but the free tier is genuinely complete. Setting up Bitwarden takes about 15 minutes for the initial import if you are migrating from an existing password setup. Go to their website, create an account, install the browser extension for Chrome or Firefox, and let it start saving your passwords as you log into sites. Within a week, your entire password library will be inside Bitwarden, secured and organized. And one critical step that works alongside Bitwarden: enable two-factor authentication on every account that supports it. Your email, your bank, your social media, your cloud storage. Two-factor authentication means that even if an attacker somehow has your password, they still cannot get in without a code from your phone. Bitwarden plus two-factor authentication is the combination that makes your accounts essentially bulletproof against credential-based attacks. The fourth layer of this setup is something that works in your browser, and it is arguably the tool that will make the biggest noticeable difference to your day-to-day experience on the internet. Ublock Origin is a free open-source browser extension available for Chrome, Firefox, Edge, and most other major browsers. It is the most widely used and most highly rated content blocker in existence, and it does something that pure antivirus tools cannot do. It blocks malicious content before it ever loads on your screen. Here is how most web-based attacks actually work. You visit a website, even a legitimate, well-known website, and that website loads advertising content from third-party networks. Those advertising networks, in turn, sometimes serve what is called malvertising, advertisements that contain hidden, malicious code. The malicious code runs the moment the ad loads on your screen. You do not click on anything. You do not download anything. The attack executes automatically in the background just from visiting a completely normal website. This type of attack bypasses traditional antivirus tools completely. Because the malicious code is delivered through the browser, not through a file on your hard drive, Defender and even Bitdefender have very limited ability to stop it. But Ublock Origin stops it at the source. It prevents the malicious ad from loading in the first place. Beyond malvertising, Ublock Origin blocks phishing sites. If you accidentally click a link that goes to a fake banking site or a fake login page, Ublock Origin will intercept it and warn you before the page loads. It blocks tracking scripts that follow you across the web. It blocks cryptocurrency mining scripts that use your CPU to mine crypto without your knowledge while you browse. And it blocks the pop-up scams that try to convince you your computer is infected, and you need to call a number immediately. The performance benefit is substantial too. A typical web page without an ad blocker loads dozens of external scripts, trackers, and ad content alongside the actual content you wanted to see. With Ublock Origin, all of that is stripped away. Pages load faster. Your browser uses less memory. The internet feels genuinely cleaner and quicker. Installing Ublock Origin takes about 30 seconds. Open the extension store for your browser, Chrome Web Store for Chrome users, Firefox add-ons for Firefox users. Search for Ublock Origin, click install, and that is it. The default settings work perfectly for most users right out of the box. It runs silently in the background, blocking tens of thousands of known malicious domains, ad networks, and tracking scripts based on regularly updated filter lists. One thing to be aware of: there's a fake version of Ublock Origin that appears in some app stores. The real one is called Ublock Origin and was created by Raymond Hill. When you search for it, make sure the developer listed is Raymond Hill and that it has millions of downloads and a very high rating. There are clones and copies with similar names that are not the same product. Always verify you are installing the original. Now let me show you how all four of these tools work together as a system, because understanding the layers is what makes this whole thing click. Your browser opens a website. Before the page even loads, Ublock Origin scans every element of that page against its database of malicious domains, trackers, and malvertising networks. Anything suspicious is blocked before it reaches your screen. You download a file. Bitdefender's real-time protection intercepts the file before it can execute, scanning it against its threat database and analyzing its behavior. If it looks malicious, Bitdefender quarantines it immediately. You log into a website. Bitwarden autofills a completely unique 30-character random password that exists only for that site. Even if that site is later breached, only that one site is at risk. Everything else stays secure. Once a week, you run Malwarebytes. It scans for adware, spyware, browser hijackers, and potentially unwanted programs that slip through the cracks, the category of threat that traditional antivirus ignores, but Malwarebytes specifically targets. 4 tools, 4 different attack surfaces, each one independently effective and collectively forming something that is genuinely stronger than most paid security suites. Here is what this stack costs. Bitdefender free, $0. Malwarebytes free, $0. Bitwarden free, $0. Ublock Origin, $0. Total monthly cost of the best free security setup available in 2026, $0. Compare that to what you actually get with Defender alone. 1 tool, 1 layer. No browser protection for Chrome or Firefox, no password management, No ad blocking, no malware-specific scanning. Just a single antivirus engine that costs you system performance and leaves you exposed on 4 out of 5 attack vectors. The math is not complicated. Here is the part of this video that most tech channels skip, and it is the most important part. Because even with the best security setup on the planet, there is one vulnerability that no software can fix, and that is human behavior. Security researchers will consistently describe humans as the weakest link in any security chain. The most sophisticated cyber attacks in history did not beat antivirus tools through technical superiority. They beat humans. They sent convincing emails. They created urgent scenarios. They exploited the fact that when a person feels panicked, they stop thinking critically and start clicking. So, alongside the 4-tool security stack I just walked you through, there are 3 behavioral habits that will make your protection essentially complete. Habit number 1, never trust urgency. The single most reliable pattern in social engineering and phishing attacks is artificial urgency. Your account has been compromised, act now. You have a package that cannot be delivered, click here immediately. There is suspicious activity on your account, verify your identity now. Legitimate companies do not communicate with you this way. If you receive a message that demands immediate action involving your personal information or account credentials, stop. Close the message. Go directly to the company's website by typing the address yourself, never by clicking the link, and check your account from there. If nothing is wrong, the urgent message was a phishing attempt. Habit number 2, update everything, always. The majority of successful cyber attacks exploit vulnerabilities that were already patched, meaning the security update that would have stopped the attack was available before the attack happened, but the victim had not installed it yet. Keeping your operating system, your browser, and your applications up to date is not optional housekeeping. It is an active security decision. Enable automatic updates on Windows. Enable automatic updates on Chrome or Firefox. When software prompts you to update it. The window between a patch being released and an attack targeting the unpatched vulnerability can be as short as 24 hours. Habit number 3, think before you install. The most common way serious malware gets onto a machine is through something the user voluntarily installed. A free game from a sketchy site, a cracked version of expensive software, a browser extension that promised to enhance YouTube, a system cleaner, downloaded from a pop-up ad. Before installing anything on your computer, ask yourself 3 questions. Where did this come from? Is it from the official developer's website or app store? Do other people I trust use this? Is it reviewed, rated, and widely used? Do I actually need it? Or am I installing it on impulse because a pop-up told me I should? 3 questions, 30 seconds. And you eliminate the single most common entry point for the tools you just spent this entire video protecting yourself against. I promised this video would be honest, and being honest means telling you that there is a category of person for whom this free setup, as good as it is, may not be enough. If you work remotely and handle sensitive client or business data on your personal machine, the stakes are higher than for a home user. A single breach of client data can expose you to legal liability that no free tool will protect you from in a professional sense. In that scenario, a paid security suite with identity theft insurance, dark web monitoring, and premium customer support is worth considering. If your household includes children who use the same machine, the parental controls built into the free tools I mentioned are limited. Paid suites from Norton and Bitdefender include far more comprehensive family protection tools. And if you have already experienced a serious malware infection or identity theft incident, the proactive monitoring features in paid products, particularly dark web monitoring that alerts you when your credentials appear in a breach, provide a level of early warning that free tools simply cannot match. For everyone else, for the vast majority of people watching this video who are individual users, students, homeworkers, and people who want professional grade protection without a monthly bill, the free stack I have shown you today is the right answer, and it is a genuinely, meaningfully better answer than Microsoft Defender alone. Let me bring this home with something concrete. 6 months ago, I was running Microsoft Defender. It was doing its job in a quiet, unremarkable way. My machine was not infected. Nothing catastrophic happened. But when I actually sat down and mapped out my threat exposure, what it protected against and what it left open, I realized I was covered on 1 out of 5 attack surfaces and had a false sense of security about the other 4. Today I run Bitdefender Free as my core antivirus, covering real-time malware detection, web protection across all browsers, and behavioral analysis. I run Malwarebytes once a week for deep scans targeting adware, spyware, and potentially unwanted programs. I use Bitwarden for all my passwords. Every account has a unique machine-generated password that I could not tell you from memory because I never need to. And I have Ublock Origin running in my browser, blocking malvertising, phishing sites, trackers, and crypto miners before they ever reach my screen. The whole setup cost me nothing. It took me about an hour to put together, and the peace of mind it gives me is not based on a hope that one tool is doing its job. It is based on knowing that 4 independent layers are each doing their specific job, and that an attacker who wants to get to my machine has to beat all 4 of them simultaneously. That is what real security looks like in 2026. If you found this video useful, the algorithm genuinely helps when you hit like. It gets this in front of people who are running on Defender alone and do not know what they are missing. And if you want more content like this, practical no-cost setups that actually work, subscribe and hit the bell so you catch the next one. I will see you in the next video.